Hey.
Can I help you?
Nope.
Okay. Huh?
What?
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 What? What?
What?
What?
What?
What you want?
Huh?
I said, what do you want?
You're the one who invited me!
You're not even in frame. I hope you know that.
My fault. Here, let me just... My fault.
Whoa. Hold on.
Am I not allowed to lick the camera? It's not my fault you're short! I have this at my height. Currently. Dude. I mean, what? I'm not stalking the stream for points.
What?
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 Sorry, Mom can't watch stream. I'm watching My Little Pony. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. I get it.
Wow. Was that crazy?
Yeah, that was crazy, actually.
You know what? Valid.
I was
he
just
did say
talking
that.
about My Little Pony and how much I, like, love watching it.
Bro, I don't need to rewatch it again. I just finished a rewatch of it. Fine, I'll get smaller to match your height.
Thank you.
You know what? I'll even match your eye height. I'll be that person.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Turning my notifications off. Oh my god. He is watching My Little Pony. Wait, what episode is it?
Yeah, it's working, for now.
Right, for now.
But yes, it is working.
The first episode? Wow.
You're only on the first episode?
Yeah, he sent me a photo. He's watching with like a bunch of people in
Oh.
DC.
Fair enough.
He's got friends! Are you proud of your son?
Sure. Okay, are we bowling?
Are we?
I asked you.
Join the game.
Wait.
You gotta click the gotta click the
Will you?
the thing. Oh, and don't forget to turn on your baby bumpers.
I will. You know, actually.
You got it? Yeah, you're on.
Do I?
Sorry.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh.
How did you already mess it up?
Oh. Okay.
Maybe you should stick to doing the streaming.
What? Rude. Did we start? Is it my turn?
Yeah, you go first.
Do I?
I gotta get a ball too.
Why do I feel shorter?
I don't know. I matched eye height, okay? Don't blame me.
Well, I am blaming you, so...
What the fuck?
Wait, I've never, like, bowled this way.
Oh
Hold
my
on.
god. I reached a 25 stream watch streak. Chat, are you proud of me?
I only had 2.
I'm sharing my streak.
You're sharing your streak?
Yeah, because I'm on a 25 day, or not 25 day, but 25 stream watch streak. I gotta flex.
Yo, my.
I'm too far. What do you mean? What?
Oh, because it's capturing off of my audio.
God damn it.
My apologies.
Let me go throw some balls. I can't because it's still your turn.
Ha ha ha. Is that better, chat? Or is that too loud? Oh my god, it's loud for me.
25 streams insane. Thanks. I 10 missed 1 stream. Oh. Quite accurate. Wait, you have it set at your height, right?
I think it's set to my height. I don't know.
Keep in mind, chat. This
Damn
is
it.
my height.
I am not that short.
I was like, no, you're not.
Am I? Did it reset my height again?
Did it?
It did.
Stream Elements just said that you're live.
Did it
There you go.
actually?
Yeah. So small.
Not small. What? Go! It's your turn.
Oh my god. Give me the ball. Oh, this is harder because I'm positioned weirdly. I don't want to hear anything.
You might. Chat, it's rigged. Chat, this is rigged. Chat, it's rigged. Chat, it's rigged. It's rigged.
Why does my eye do that? Wait.
Oh,
My
good
face.
heavens.
That's interesting. Yippee!
Yay!
I got a pin!
Let's go. Hey, you're beating me finally.
Oh my god, shut up.
But you are!
I have to like look out of my nose to see chat. Because I have you on my desk. Oh! My head's had a seizure.
God, I hate when
does
that
that every
happens.
Don't you just... You want to talk about it?
No, we don't gotta talk about it. No,
You're
it's fine.
supposed to be aiming for lane 3.
No, it's fine. It's fine. This was all part of my plan. So I don't remember how to play.
Does the video things work? What video thing? What? Do you know what your boyfriend is talking about?
What? What?
He said, does the video things work?
What video thing?
That's what I'm asking.
Oh wait, did it finally hit the pins?
Oh my god. That took forever.
Damn it. He's
That doesn't answer our question, Jess. That doesn't answer our question. It answers your question, but not our question.
What? Huh?
Your boyfriend confuses me.
It's your turn.
I know, that's why I was grabbing a ball. I don't like this game.
You don't like this game?
Nah, I love it. My ear itches. Okay. I typed so bitch. Hold on. Damn. Be good.
Good job.
Thanks.
So proud.
Oh, thanks.
Welcome. No, my
Thank
fucking
you.
ball. Give that. Stop. Wrist. I've made a severe lapse in my judgment on how I play. This sucks.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Game. It's a stupid game. Stupid game.
Yeah, buddy?
What?
Yeah, buddy?
Yeah. Oh! I didn't even know it came through.
Yeah.
That counts, right? Hi. I did not mean to reset you. Hi chat, how's it going? The videos that can be redeemed. Tangia. Yeah, I don't have Tangia set up right now. Deadass could not be bothered.
So real. You were already struggling.
What?
You were already struggling to set it up. Do I
Yeah,
gotta
like
say it
VR
again?
in general.
No.
Dude, my computer already
What
crashed.
if I overhand? Sick. It already. Wait, what?
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 Kitty! New kitty. I didn't know you had a kitty in your arm.
I do.
Overhand throw! Low key, I think I found a hack.
Do you just throw it overhand? Is that the hack?
Yeah. You were gonna say, oh no.
Huh?
Jesse was gonna call Tangia Omegle.
Not Omegle.
Not Omegle, oh no.
Oh, it's my turn. Oh, good heavens.
Yeah. Oh, the camera's just following.
Yeah, because I didn't like how far away it was.
Valen. Are those your other two balls in the gutters?
No! God, who would put their balls in the gutter? That's embarrassing. Oh my god. Oh my god, who would do that? That's crazy. Oh wow.
Why are you floating?
I don't know what just happened. I'm like
so
low-key
concerned.
dying. Hello?
Well, stop it. Stop it.
Apologies. Why do I run like that?
My apologies.
Is it still my
Are you
turn?
gonna go again? Yeah. You have 2 throws.
Yeah, that was the point. No, my vape is in my hand.
Oh my god.
Okay, I got some of them. I got some of them. I got some of them.
Good job? Question mark? Oh, I need to get my shit together. Fuck. Oh shit. Oh shit. See my ball. Okay, I just need to. I just need. Go. Okay. Wait, shit. Yo.
What the fuck did
I
you
got
do?
a spare.
I look away
I
for
got a
2
spare.
seconds. You got a spare?
Yeah.
This fucking guy. I'm not that far behind you. I think that's what's like the most upsetting.
I know.
There's something on my foot. There's something still on my foot. What is on my foot? Luna, thank you for the follow.
With 2 U's. I almost said 2 N's. I'll see myself out. Where's my controller?
I dropped the ball. The ball's gone.
Stop dropping the ball!
I dropped it. It's gone. It's gone.
Who's texted me? Nobody. I'm just a schizophrenic.
What?
I'm being schizophrenic.
Damn.
Did you
Wait, I
pass
probably
the
need
camera
another.
through me?
Maybe. I need another ball.
Well, there's plenty, as
I
you can
have one.
see.
Thank you. You know, I didn't even want to play.
What was your idea?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Okay, never. Oh.
Ugh.
Oh. It's still your turn, by the way.
Is it? Fuck.
Yes, you have 2 throws per turn!
I kind of just assume. It's not even gonna hit it. I'm so over it. Chad, I'm over it. I'm over it, Chad. I'm over it.
Chad, I think she's over it.
I hope you're having a great day. I kind of am, yeah.
Kind of.
Meh. Jesse would like to join you.
Ew.
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 Ew. Stinky. Hey Chad, I kind of fucked up. I'm gonna overhand throw again.
Oh my. Oh, you actually just straight up are gonna overhand it. That's crazy. That's actually crazy.
Things you can do in VR bowling, but not in real.
Wait, can I? Do you
did
think
that
if
when
I
I was
just like
younger.
click it? Hold on, ready?
Don't.
Oh!
It's glitching for me.
Well,
Wait, I can still pick it up.
we go and grab another ball. That's how we deal with this.
I got
Hi,
it.
Jesse.
Hello.
Or don't.
I'm
take
gonna
my
sit
ball,
here
that's
and mute
fine.
for a bit.
Okay.
I'm just a light bulb.
That's actually really unfortunate because I have to pee.
Oh shit.
Do you guys want to come to my bathroom with me? Oh god, I'm gone.
No!
Why not?
I don't want to hear you piss, queen.
Oh my god, I'm. Fine, I'll be back. This is so mean and so cruel. Ow.
Jesse, come entertain chat.
A part of I need to mute for a while.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. Never mind.
My bad. I need to call someone. But I'm just gonna stand here. Because
You're
Ghost
just
wanted me
Let
here.
me just.
I got it, don't worry.
Do I have it? I have two, right? I only got the basic one. Hell yeah.
Oh god.
Ooh.
Hello.
The basic one is just funny though. Sped
It
up.
is.
Oh, I only have T-pose.
Oh my god, Jesse, I'm on PC so I can hear everything now.
Wait, you couldn't before? You can hear this?
I can.
You can hear the music before? Oh,
No,
man.
I couldn't because it was PC only.
Oh, you know what that means. The person is not cool. I can use this guy. You ready to get DMCA'd?
Are you ready to get?
Am I ready to get DMCA'd? That's a loaded question.
The answer is always. She's so How dare.
There's
What
so
is
many.
happening?
Oh my god.
No, I was dancing.
What happened to my music?
I did this again.
What music? Death of a backward.
Jesus, Jesse.
Told you there was so many. And there's walking ones too. Hold on.
Wait, is that Go See Me Out?
Oh, you can disable music. Hold on.
I was not expecting VRchat stream. I don't think she was expecting it either.
Is that Ghosty in VR? Hi! Hello! Jesse, do you want to try and see if you want to join, or...?
I'm here.
No, I mean for the game.
The bowling game.
Oh, the bowling game. I'm supposed to... Someone's supposed to
Click.
call me, but they have not responded. Sure, you know what? Hold on, let me change my skin though. I'm too
You
short.
have to join this one. Join this one.
Join this one. This one?
This
This
one.
one?
This one.
This one.
This one.
How do you... there's nothing on the screen. How
Do we have to reset the game?
Did the other one
It's a
show,
blue
like,
screen.
reset for new game, or...?
This one is blank. This one says reset for new
Yeah,
game.
we have to abort it.
No, but I was winning! Ah! Okay. Join. Don't click start.
Let me go to Lord.
It won't let me
Make
turn on the bumpers. It also says I'm not on the screen.
I know I'm this tall.
Yeah, it says you're not on the screen. Leave game. Join game.
Oh, one game.
Oh, hey, I'm
Okay.
on this one.
No bumpers.
Why are you on that one?
I don't know, move.
Oh.
What?
Am I in this one? I'm in this one.
I'm confused. Why are you on both of them?
Oh, probably because you didn't leave the other game.
She's only on this one. Hold on, do I have like default? Okay.
Okay, so are we doing this one then? Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Start game. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, champ.
Go get it for me. I get it. Oh. Hey, I did it.
Yay! Good job.
Yeah.
How was her first throw
Yeah.
a strike?
Let's go.
What? Chat, look away.
It's
What?
my turn. It's my turn.
Is it your turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
You.
All right. Mouse and keyboard style. This is really hard on
Did you turn the bumpers on?
No.
That's
This is
fine.
really difficult.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Hold on. Is this my
Turn
turn?
on-
Wait.
Turn on bumpers.
No, I can do it. Look at
Jesse.
And he's still
I'm just getting the balls.
How's that working out for you?
I
You're
can't
stuck.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there you go. It's your turn.
Why? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I got a 0. Okay. No.
Did you make this happy yourself? I did not. This is just a public one.
3. Oh my god. 3. Bro, I would have got. I need to do it in the other lane, I think, and then just throw.
I think
it
he's
that
a little
way.
special.
I'm on mouse and keyboard, motherfucker.
Me.
I am not able to
I didn't call you
throw
evil.
something.
I called you special.
It's still your turn, love.
I said not able. I said not
Oh.
able. I can't get the ball.
Everest, is that my ball? Oh. Never mind.
Okay, I'm gonna try from the top. Oh, no.
Jesse's thrown all the balls.
I can't throw it. I'm gonna get a headset just to play bowling.
So you can be good at it.
There's an angle at it. I think I'm kind of good at it. I remember kind of sucking at the same time. Okay, well at least it marks my score down and we can fucking leave. Oh, I'm getting a call. Hold on.
No, just see.
I think it's glitched because it's still his turn.
Did he hit any down?
I don't know.
He just took my ball. Alright, Everest, it's your turn.
Finally, Jesus. Went through a whole corpse song for that. Ball.
Oh my.
Hey, maybe don't overhand throw. A little tip.
A little tip, don't overhand? Alright.
Here's a little tip.
Cool.
Why does this ball have sound effects?
Does it?
Do you not hear that? Jesse, do you hear it?
Jesse's on a call.
He said no.
Oh.
I think I'm schizophrenic. Cause it sounds like it's doing the rolling sound effect.
What the fuck?
Hey yo, I think my ball's a little fucked.
Think so.
Oh, there it goes.
Oh wait, what the fuck? If we do a meetup ghost, you
What?
better not be this bad at bowling, you might tie with me. What the strike? UMLB pitched it? You might tie with me. I actually
Oh,
used
hi, Sal.
I used to be really good at bowling. I don't know
I
how-
never was good.
Oh my.
When I was younger, I literally would overhand throw.
Oh my. Okay. Are we waiting for Jesse to get back?
Considering it's his turn, yes.
I bet.
Never mind. Bro's bowling while on call.
The aura.
The
Oh shit,
aura.
he's excited, look at him!
Yeah! Oh. Get it.
I'd fuck it up in VR, 100% would fall over doing a bowl. So you should join us.
Distraction.
Distraction. I don't have a headset, neither does Jesse. Jesse doesn't have a headset, and look at him.
I played on mobile for a little bit. It's horrible, but it's a thing. What do you mean your ears? Was the gun loud? Was the
Oh,
snow
it might have been
pew-pew loud?
Jesse that was loud as fuck.
Oh. Oh, it's my turn. Keep getting the corners. I'm upset. Yeah. I keep getting the corners.
Oh lord. Hello.
Oh. You good?
Apparently not. It
Oh.
isn't recognizing that I sat.
I can tell.
You can tell.
Oh wait, no, so said the gun gave me flashbacks from yesterday's in winter. That shit was so loud. Stay back. No, come here. Come here, Cell. Come here. I stole him.
Is it
And
my
saved
turn?
me from Dopa. Wait. I'm gonna stay here until ads are done. All on her ads, bro.
Chat, you might be stuck.
Oh, hello!
with me. Like this.
I just want to scare Cell. That's all I want. Celeritin.
I don't know where my camera went. Where did it go?
Who said hello to you? Are you looking for your camera?
Yeah. Not that
This
part
one?
of the camera, the other camera.
Oh.
That I
Oh,
genuinely
your
don't
screen?
know what happened. Yeah, my screen.
How did you lose your screen?
Bro, you're asking the wrong person. Where did my screen go?
Is it back by the balls?
No.
I don't know why I'm looking as if I could see it.
Oh wait. Oh yeah, I look so short. So not.
You do, because you're sitting down.
It's not my fault. I promise.
Head pet. Are ads done yet? Go on. Well, there's a wild ghosty on me.
You bet your ass there is.
What?
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 Clip that metal. Oh my god.
Celeritin! You have returned to me.
Yo, I'm struggling.
He's returned to me.
The voices. The voice.
Is it okay that I punched 𝚃𝚆𝙸𝚃𝙲𝙷?
The voices. Punch.
Why are the what voices? Yeah, I punched him.
I don't give a fuck.
Oh,
about
Saint, no,
you.
I didn't mean to punch you too. Everyone in chat except Cell, I'm sorry.
Except Cell, I'm sorry.
I'm just a
Drown in a
goofy little,
lake.
just a goofy little mod. I'm just a goofy goober.
Can my cat not destroy my PC? I see you on top of it. Please do not turn it off.
I accept because you are nice. Yay!
Redeemed hydrate?
Do you have water?
Drink anywhere? I don't know. Good question. I'll figure that out. I'll be right back, chat. Oh, shit.
𝚃𝚆𝙸𝙃 is gonna fight me.
How do I
I'm
get
so
out of-
scared.
Oh god. Oh god. Where am I? Where is my drink? Oh wait, it's right there.
Because I paid work in the lounge. Smiles. Oh no. My IP. I pee over your PC.
Everest,
What?
stop harassing my chatters.
I'm not. I'm only harassing Cell. God damn it.
Sorry. Is she
Wow. Wow. Okay.
What
Wow.
was my arm? Hello?
Wait. What? Why it been like that?
I don't know.
Hey yo, why your arm go whoo-ah?
Is she picking on you? Dude, did I tell you that I wanted to draw 𝚃𝚆𝙸𝙃 as a female? Did I ever tell you guys that?
Oh, you
Ghosty,
were calling
Dennis harassed me more
yourself
than-
she?
Yeah. Ghosty, we need to optimize
thought
your
you
arms.
were
I don't know what's
shadowing
happening.
me.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. That's normal if your wingspan's shorter IRL than your Avi. Did I set this at the wrong height? I'm leaving, not even lurking. No, I harass you for fun, I promise.
No, Cell, I'm sorry. Come back. I know how to get him back.
Come back. How are you gonna get him back?
I'm scared to say it, but I know a way.
Did I fix it? It's kind of fixed.
Kind of?
Kind of, I don't know. My
I
tracker
don't
was
think
weird.
mine are long enough because my elbow kind of. Come out, get dressed. You're my date to the pep rally tonight.
You got games on your phone? Do you
Then
have
it hit me
games?
like a flash. What if high school went away instead? Those assholes are the key. They're keeping you away from me. They made you blind, messed up your mind, but I can set you free. You left me and I fell apart. I punched the wall and cried. Bam, 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 bam. Then I said, oh, truthful shit inside, and so I built
Oh!
one of
That was my chair!
Owie,
Owie, owie, owie, owie, Ow, I hit my chair!
Are you okay?
That hurts so incredibly bad, actually. No, I'm
Are
not
you
okay.
okay? What
No, I'm
happened?
not. I'm not okay. I fucking
What
hit my
happened?
chair. I hit my chair. That's all that happened.
Oh my god.
I went to go bowl and I hit my chair. So I don't want to talk about it.
To be yours.
Oh!
Ocean goes boom with everyone inside. Pew, 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 pew. In the rubble of their tomb, we'll plant this note explaining why they died. We, the students of Westerberg High, will die.
I'm just
Our
gonna grab a new
bodies may finally get through to you. Your society turns out slaves and blanks. No thanks. Signed, the students of Westerberg High. Goodbye. We'll watch the smoke pour out the doors. Bring marshmallows, we'll make s'mores. We can smile and cuddle while the fire roars. I was too fast.
Damn, I'm at 46.
How are you at 40? Brother, I'm at 11. what we've begun.
Hi, chat.
We're meant to be mine. I am all that you need. You can't open my heart. Can't just leave me to bleed. Veronica, open the door, please. Veronica, open the door. Veronica, can we not fight anymore, please? Can we not fight anymore? Veronica, sure you're scared. I've been there. I can set you free. Veronica, don't make me come in there. I'm gonna count to 3. 1, 2, fuck it. This is what happens when you befriend a theater kid, by the way. Please don't leave me alone. You
We need Jesse to work so he can bowl.
all I could trust. Oh. Still I will find my Veronica, I brought you a snack. Veronica? Insert blood curdling scream here. Spotify ad. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Wait.
It's okay, Jesse. You'll get it. You'll get it.
I got the spare balls. My ball.
Oh. Jesse, please turn on bumpers.
Please.
We're not gonna think of you any less if you turn on bumpers. I promise.
We both have bumpers on.
It curves back.
Oh my god, he's alive.
Is this my turn?
Nope, it's Everest.
Oh. My thing had a seizure again. My fault.
Is there a mirror here?
No, but you can do personal mirrors.
Oh wait, personal mirror, right?
I have face mirror on.
I do too, but the special week is so big it takes up the whole screen. I turn it off.
The what?
The one avatar I have.
You can change how much of the avatar it shows.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you can make it, you can change the opacity of the face mirror and the size of it and everything.
Is that in tools too?
Yeah.
No, you'd have to go into settings to change all the little specifics about it.
I assume so.
What am I at? God damn it. I'm at legal age.
18?
Congrats.
My points.
Oh, hold on. It's really far away, and Oh, congrats. I'm 5. Damn, it's so hard. It's so hard on keyboard.
To be fair, you were on the phone and you also have bumpers off.
You both have bumpers on?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
tried telling you that.
I
Like,
only thought
several
Ghost had them
times.
on.
No,
No, we both have them on.
them.
We're on now.
I just got a notification from Chick-fil-A asking me to get their nuggets. Like,
I want-
DoorDash.
Is it a threat? Does someone die if you don't?
Let me find out. I mean, if I do, the chickens will.
They send a photo of someone just taped and roped up.
Crispy Chick-fil-A nuggets and your favorite sauce. Always a perfect match. Order your go-to combo today. That isn't my go-to combo. Fucking nerds. I don't like this song, but I'm too lazy to skip it.
Real.
Hi, chat. Hi. Hello.
I glow!
Baby go. Oh baby go. Baby, go. Get it. Don't stop. Get it. Get it. Go. 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 Oh my god, I doubled my score.
I think he's struggling a little bit.
Perchance.
The bumpers
Expecting
are
Ghosty
easy.
to get up
turns
into the
out.
cam like that.
What?
Why are you shaking it?
You don't like it?
Look at the camera.
Do you not like when I'm in the camera chat? Oh lord. Oh, this is too far. Do you not like when I'm in the camera chat?
Go. 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 Go.
Hi. Mwah. I hope that looked good. If it didn't, then I'm suing.
I didn't get one of them. I don't have
That
a
was okay.
sad face toggle.
I love it so much it shocked me.
You love it. Hi.
I think we're third wheeling her in chat.
Yeah, welcome to streamers being
Wouldn't it be
parasocial
fourth
with their
wheeling?
chat. Wait.
I mean, that's how we know.
behind it. That was already down.
Look,
What?
is this parasocial chat?
Oh,
Is
it's
this
my turn.
parasocial? Is this parasocial chat? Is this parasocial?
Your mom's parasocial.
Is this parasocial?
Let's go.
Hey,
Gimme.
come here often.
What? Oh shit. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk
I
about
don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about it.
What happened? You missed! You
I
missed!
got it in the gutter.
Oh my.
I got it in the gutter with the bumpers on.
Oh my. Oh, that was my desk! I keep hitting the walls. This is so not fair. I'm not used to being in VR. I hit things. Specifically my chair that's conveniently right in front of me. Everest. Are you having fun blocking my way? Oh shit. Well, fuck. Never mind, I'm not getting any. Hi, chat. Hi. Oh god, where did you go? Hello? Hi. God. Oh my god, I'm so shaky. Oh no, that's just my tits now. Take these for being an awesome streamer, Inoshi. Paul, thank you for the biddies. What the heck?
My father just came home, so I'm probably gonna be mute for a little bit.
Okay. You did not have to do that.
My bad, Finn. I didn't know about there.
Oh?
Don't stop. Get it, get it. Come on. I got 3.
You got 3?
I guess I got none.
Paul gets it? Yeah, Paul does get it. Is it okay? Can you guys see okay? You guys doing alright? I sure hope
Yes,
so.
that's it. That's it. That's it. I missed entirely.
Oh my. Hydrate again? Did I bring my cup in here? I didn't. I'll check it. Ow, ow, ow. Ow.
Did you try to throw a bowling ball at me?
Okay, I've hydrated. Hi, Rage! Hi! Hello, hello! Was it? Oh, it's Jesse's turn. Where is Jesse?
My turn?
Oh.
Oh, it is my turn. I must acquire ball.
Keep losing ours somehow.
Mind if I use that one?
Sure.
Thank you. Well, I can't find any, to be fair.
They're all back here, Jesse.
Or do they spawn back here?
Yeah.
What the fuck? There's so many of them.
There are some.
Understood. That's it. That's it. How did I miss the first one? What? No, I didn't miss. I didn't miss.
Oh, are you? Oh, okay. Erased, it's your turn. Taco Bell does sound good right now. What the hell?
That's been my status for like 2 days.
Has it?
Yeah.
That
I'm
sounds
still
so
craving
good.
Taco Bell. Literally.
Hi, chat. Hi.
What if we DoorDash to Taco Bell?
I don't have the money to DoorDash Taco Bell. You think I have
Real, on a
money to
budget.
DoorDash it?
You know how
But if I
expensive DoorDash
DoorDash
is?
to Taco Bell,
I mean, you could DoorDash
Am I
it for
included?
yourself. You know what? Hell yeah, Jesse.
What?
I said you want. Know what? Hell yeah, Jesse. You're included.
Oh, okay. I forgot. I was so confused why you said that. There's pink balls.
hey Ghosty, out of curiosity, what do you like from Taco Bell?
I
She
don't
gets
really
the $7
know.
lunch pack.
My pain pills are cooking
Hey
right now.
Ghosty.
Bye.
Ooh, pain pills.
Whoa.
Drugs. Oh, am I in the wave stream? My bad.
Oh, the pink ones
No,
look
you're
blue in the light. Probably because it's a blue.
I'm totally not on DoorDash right now. I am. Cinnabon Delights. Fuck. Oh my god. Oh my god, my mouth is watering just looking at all this.
You look great, so being in the way is not a big deal. You do look great.
Oh,
Oh, I
thanks.
love
My hand tracking isn't tracking. Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
said that?
see, you're
I don't
perfect
have chat
just
open.
Spawning in. Saint did.
Oh, thank you. You're a real one, Saint.
For real.
You're a saint.
I don't have original.
I'm so funny.
I only use Tedo.
Oh, my phone's at 14%. Where's my
You
charger?
don't use
Oh, it's so
just
dark.
Tedo. You have the old
Oh,
matching
sorry,
ones
dude.
we had.
Oh yeah.
Pardon
I don't
me.
usually use that unless you're using the other one.
I need to turn my room light on because I think that's why my headset is having issues.
Probably.
This one doesn't have toggle.
Oh my god.
Hi, Cozy. Hello, hello.
Don't mind me. Oh, I just blinded myself. With my phone.
Oh yeah. It doesn't.
Whoa, this isn't an appropriate song. Continues to sing it. Ghosty.
Yes.
What do you... Jax?
I think your stupid boombox
I'm looking
is
at my
busted.
skins.
I heard the
What do
cane.
you
I think
like
your
from Taco
boombox is
Bell?
busted.
Oh
I don't know what I
yeah,
like.
that's my It's my.
Wait, Jack's toy.
Supreme Lux Spa. What? My feta. Oh. My mouth.
Now you can hear it. I don't think I have any other.
Ay.
I do like this one.
There aren't a lot of
What one?
combos that include the
The
crunch wrap.
Sonic.
It's just kind of big. Yeah, I like the art style.
I like the art style too.
Thank you. Oh well, you're an FNF fanatic. I am always in shock and awe though.
Oh,
it plays this song.
come back. My fault.
I don't have Spring Trap. but I
Why
do
is my
have
arm having a
Bonnie.
seizure? I just now noticed that. Please.
Oh, Bonnie is tall.
I might just get a crunch wrap, honestly.
Spring Trap Supreme game. Bro, I got one.
No, literally.
And it was just 3/4 lettuce. And it
No,
was
it's
the
literally
same.
always a hit or miss, but I love taking the gamble.
Yeah.
I'm somewhat of a gambler myself.
Gambling is quite fun, I must say.
Yes, I'm in severe debt, but you know, it's fun.
It's all for the cause.
Too sweet by Hoosier. Is it Hosier or Hosier?
I've heard
Hosier.
Hosier.
The song, the group.
I've heard both.
I've only heard Hosier. Or Hosier.
Hosier.
Hosier. Fuck.
I'm calling him Hosier now.
Hosier. Hosier.
Wait, I can do extra nacho cheese and extra. Oh, it's extra money.
I forgot about this.
Okay.
Good at onions
the
for
portal.
free.
Get
I'm looking at DoorDash.
Hey,
portal.
I'm sure. Listen, needs to
I
get
have hand
on. Let
tracking.
me switch. Let me switch.
my
for
God.
the
Let's go. Hi, chat. Are we all good? Is anyone drinking anything? Eating anything? I want to know. What are you guys doing? What are you doing right now while watching me? Let me know in the comments down below.
That sounds so good.
Wow.
Bro, I want steak garlic nacho fries. The fuck? You know what? Yeah.
Oh my god, you have a flashlight.
Yeah.
Salted
Oh, no.
caramel churros.
Oh, you do?
Hello?
Oh wait.
Yeah, press F for flashlight.
Oh. Oh my god, wait, is this a... Something is roaming around this place? Oh yeah. I do love... Petal.
I'm spending $20 on Taco Bell.
You're gonna spend more when you see the tax.
No, I added the tip to make sure it was 20. That's what I always do.
Oh, okay.
Okay, where are my
Okay.
controllers? There they are.
Okay.
Go see.
Something is roaming around this place. You can see it, but it'll look for you. When it spots you, its attention grows. The more it notices you, the stronger presence becomes. Strange events are signs that presence is growing. Hide before it finds you. Can press F or press trigger twice for flashlight. I have a flashlight.
I ordered
Warning,
Taco
jump
Bell.
scares in this world is in early access. There's a lot more to work on and likely some bugs.
Effects, other player flashlight. Blood effect of a flex. I'm gonna turn that on. You probably shouldn't have it
Blood
on since you're streaming
flex.
though.
It'll be
I
fine.
glow.
We'll
I don't have a flashlight.
Oh, you do glow.
I'm going
Just
to walk
double
into
trigger.
this house.
Oh, I'm dumb. I didn't retain any of what you read, by the way.
Where? Well, it said hide, and I don't know
That
where to
sucks.
hide.
It basically, there's stuff that apparently can jump scare us. That's about it.
Fun.
Yeah. I don't like that I can hear stuff. Jesse, are you walking upstairs? Okay. Well, he's gone. Hold my hand, I'm scared.
Why do my feet sound like that?
Why is my flashlight so weird?
I'm scared. I'm gonna follow you. I trust you.
Can I open anything?
We'll get scared together. No, you can't.
I can hear Jesse's little footsteps upstairs.
Let me turn my music off.
Jesse, are you opening doors? There's a pool table.
You good?
Am I?
You good?
Am I?
Are you?
What is this? There's a staircase.
Let's find out.
Let's find out. Oh.
Oh. This looks familiar. Let's not.
Jesse. Jesse,
Come to me.
where are you?
Come here.
Where?
I'm on the second floor.
I'm on the second floor. There's an addict.
Ah!
Oh my god.
Fuck.
That's so not funny. Jesse, do you want to see something creepy? Come over here.
Oh, it's horrifying! Oh, not you.
Oh my god.
Look, go down the stairs, down that hallway.
Nope,
this
Jesse,
way.
this way.
No, these stairs.
Sit down the stairs.
Jesse, this way.
Oh, there's stairs here.
There are stairs here.
This looks like where I used to live. Minecraft. This table is upside down.
It is upside down. Good job. I keep seeing my wings and my tail, and I think it's like some entity. There's just a bunch of weird furniture.
Fornicating. You want to see the fornicating chairs? Look.
Oh.
The what? Oh. And it's the cuck
fornicating.
chair.
And the cuck chair, yeah.
Wow, what a beautiful moment.
Jesus. It's something.
They're fornicating. You open this door.
I already went through there.
Wait, where did you go?
Oh, that's not my house.
The kitchen. Wait, there's like
Murder suicide at Mountain Valley Hotel.
what kind
Wait,
of
I can
house
read
is
this,
with
wait.
grills in it?
Bodies were discovered 1 week after previously unknown incident. Incident. Police say the case began with the discovery of the suspected murderer. Okay, we're not
Sorry,
paying
my
attention to the lore, never mind.
No, I'm not
Wants
making
to
it.
roleplay.
A
Go in the
kitchen?
other door.
I was curious about the lore.
Go in the other door?
Yeah.
Why?
So we can roleplay.
What are we role playing?
The other door.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Spirit box.
What kind of drinks do you guys want? Anything
And
on the shelf
spirit
we
box.
got.
Is
I
the
don't have that
flashlight
on
on
the
your
shelf.
nose? Wait, the flashlight is on your nose.
Is it actually?
Yeah, when you turn it on, your like nose glows. Oh,
The spirit box.
can I? Oh, I've played
I had to change my
Phasmophobia.
height because I was too short. I played it once and I honestly got bored.
Are you here?
What's the
Hello?
channel? It's 113.
No, a spirit box doesn't work like that. A spirit box, you cycle through multiple channels and then it picks out words.
Isn't there's like a dead channel though?
Maybe.
Unless I'm mistaken. Holy shit, how many bathrooms are in here? Oh my god.
2.
Wait, that just leads outside.
Yeah.
Wait, there's stairs.
There's
over there.
this.
Does someone want
Yeah,
this
it's called
spirit
fire
box?
escape.
To the wall.
I don't know
Does
what to do with
anyone-
it.
I can hold it.
If you want to hold it.
Door.
Wait. Does the queen have that? Wait, it's so pretty outside, you guys.
And that makes me happy.
It's so pretty. Wait, there's a cave right there. Do you see it?
Cave?
Yeah.
Oh
over there.
yeah. You wanna go in there?
No.
Go back down.
No.
I didn't. Come on. We should go in.
Where are we going?
The cave.
Why?
Because this is not the
The
upstairs.
cave is where scary
Good
shit
job.
happens.
Isn't that what we're here for?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh my god, there's a pool table!
I said that so long ago.
You can watch movies here. I wasn't with you guys.
I know. Dude, I keep hearing stuff.
Really? I haven't heard anything.
You guys aren't
Neither.
hearing like someone mess with locks upstairs?
No.
Let me put world volume to 65. No.
I hear the fire. A
I think
fire.
you're just
I don't know
schizophrenic. Yeah, I
what
can hear the
it is.
fire.
Weird.
We welcome any and all spirits in town as to communicate to us through the spirit box. If you were able to just talk, this device should be able to pick you up.
I don't know if the...
He's making friends.
You guys don't hear
The
that?
tip jar is empty. Does that upset you?
No.
Man, now I'm just
Alright, okay.
schizophrenic.
I think.
Cave time?
If there's any spirit in here, is there any reason we should not go to the cave?
Oh wait, I think it's
Alright.
blocked off.
It is?
It looks like it.
Well, I think we're short enough. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
it is fenced off.
Don't want the spirits to say anything about the cave. They're like, dumbasses, it's closed.
Damn it.
Okay.
Curious on what jump scares there are.
Me too.
Also, why is this house like...
Did anyone else hear something?
crater.
No, never mind.
What? No, what did you hear? What did you hear?
Oh, I heard the door now. I heard a door.
You heard a door?
You're not schizophrenic. You're good.
Dude, I was like,
You're
I
weird.
hear something. It's like shuffling and then doors opening and closing.
Was that not just upstairs?
Well, it said the longer you sit, it'll show, right?
Oh,
Well, how the
you
fuck
just
are
walked
we?
into
How
it then.
are we?
Because it said that random stuff is gonna happen, and then as it continues.
What if we all just sit in the living room for a while?
Yeah. Let's just sit by the fire. I'll hold up the spirit box in case something happens. Hey, do I have any sit in?
La la.
La 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 la
Don't make fun of my vocal stems.
la 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 la.
Oh, I can't flip you off in this avatar.
I don't like
my
that
gosh,
I'm
my
like
goodness.
standing to the point that I can see everything. I'm just gonna. Yeah. Well, no, because now you
My
can't see.
sweet's on the way, guys. I'm so excited.
Isn't? Oh,
What?
did you not hear that creaking?
No.
I thought that just happened when you were walking. Does it happen to me
No,
too?
I wasn't moving.
Hide in the fire. No. 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 No.
Well, there's a door.
There's someone upstairs.
There's another door. You okay?
No, bro, I'm so jumpy. I'm so skittish. Where did Jesse go?
He's in the corner.
Okay, I was like, hello?
Yeah, no, the
If
monster.
something is here, it's not getting me, it's getting you first, and then I can outrun it.
That is so fucked up.
I was talking to
What?
Everest.
Well, I don't know. Does stuff
What?
like jump
Everest is in
scare
the
us?
middle.
Or does stuff like kill us?
I don't know.
Well, it said jump scare. I could assume.
But it also said to hide.
We're not
Yeah,
exactly
I don't know where to
hiding.
hide.
Well, it said to hide if
Well,
those occurrences happen.
There's a door. My food's almost here, guys. Going up to my...
Hey, how's it going? Don't mind.
hey, I'm pretty good. How are you?
Can I sit down? Am I allowed to sit down? Ooh! Yeah, good enough. Yeah, good enough. Okay.
And now I
Well,
wait for them to
are
leave.
we? Are we doing good?
I just heard, like,
Oh,
furniture.
Well, not anymore.
Oh my gosh, my food was dropped off.
Well, I can.
Now I just gotta wait for them to leave my house.
Real though, I literally stand outside my door like a creep watching them. Like,
No,
I literally lean on it. Like a freaking caged animal. And I just watch them drive away.
Alright, well, I'm gonna go get my food now. Should I take you with me?
You so desire.
Oh, I so desire. Let's go, besties. I'm leaving my controllers there.
Seeing 𝚃𝚆𝙷 just glaring
So-
up at mom is so surreal.
Oh, my boundary, never mind. That's not gonna work.
There goes Everett. Just seeing you fucking float away, your feet stayed in the same spot.
It's fine.
Yeah. Ooh. We could tell ghost stories. Mwahaha.
Oh yeah. I don't remember any.
Ghost stories?
Yeah. Oh, actually, what's something you've done?
What do you mean?
Because you're a ghost. You technically be a ghost. I'll see myself out. I'll go find whatever that is walking towards us.
Every story you tell is a ghost story? Okay. Hi, Con!
That's what I'm saying.
Jesse.
Yes, see?
What's up?
Hey.
Hey.
You doing okay there?
No, I'm trying to
there, bud?
sit, bro.
Yeah, I was hovering over it, so I decided to kneel.
What?
I was hovering over it when I was sitting, so I decided to kneel. Oh, there goes Everest.
No,
Sweet.
Everett.
Oh yes, here we go.
Everest, come back. Oh yeah. Podcast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna say sliding like this. I think it's funny. Imagine doing like a podcast and then just your co-host is just squatting like this the whole time.
Honestly though, W. What are you doing right now? We're
Hold on,
trying
let me
to
just-
see if this is a scary game.
Yeah, there's supposed to be. I don't talk about this. I don't know. There's supposed to be jump scares and stuff, but I haven't seen anything. I do have, which has not gone. I hate that it just sounds like they're walking towards them. And I expect to see someone. Yet nothing.
Yeah, this isn't really a scary, like, instance.
No. Well, that's because nothing's happening. Yeah, the floor is creaking, the sounds like some doors open, but I want to see a door close in front of me.
Hello.
And I want to see a
Do you
demon
not see the other me?
jump out of this fire.
What?
No, you disappeared.
What do you mean, do I see
You
the
disappeared.
other you? Everest?
There's another me right here.
No, there's not.
I'm gonna take a selfie with him. There is.
Anyway, come sit
It's
down.
a low calling me.
Are you gonna sit here for a bit?
Maybe why?
I'm gonna go eat dinner.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
Mhm.
Loser, I'm gonna eat dinner right here.
I'll be back.
Speaking of which, let me
Just
mute
stare
while I
into the
crinkle my
camera.
back.
So far, nothing's happened. I don't know if we're supposed to go find something and then we get jump scared. Because it said that it was also a world where you can just hang out.
I'm so sick. Yum yum yum. Oh, I bit right into sour cream. Fuck yeah.
Na 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 na. Elmo's world.
Oops. Oh, I didn't know I accidentally turned on my flashlight.
Na 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 na. Elmo's world.
Yeah, I don't think that's really a scary world. I think it's more for ambiance.
It might be. Oh, that was like right next to my ear. I actually hated that thing.
Crunchy.
Crunchy.
Hand fucking man. Bruh. I give up. What you eating today?
What have I eaten today?
Yeah.
Oh, a breakfast sandwich from McDonald's.
When was that?
Half an apple pie. Like 8 a.m., 9 a.m.?
Is that all you've had?
That I can remember.
You want to go on DoorDash and pick something out that I can get you?
Maybe.
That isn't me asking. I know I'm doing that voice, that's weird. Crunchy. Oh, the spice is not helping with... Well, the spice is not helping with my dry lips. Worth it. Jesse looks ridiculous right now.
Posed up.
You looking for worlds?
I was looking at a few, yeah.
I know one not to go to. I swear to God, these flashlights.
No, I turned mine off.
I don't know how to turn it off. What did I do? Oh.
Femboy Starbucks. Oh man. Dad's face is fucking killing me, bro. He's just been sitting there. Yeah, he's doing something.
It looks like he's constipated.
It does. You're right. Okay, I have to pee. I will be right back.
Go piss, queen. Oh, I heard the thud. Alright, chat, for entertainment, you get to watch me eat a Crunchwrap Supreme that you can't see. So, Merry Christmas. I'll exaggerate sounds for you. She didn't wash her hands. She didn't pee yet. She's actively going. Please give her a second. I know she pees fast, but she doesn't pee that fast. Let me turn my phone around. I just told you. Yeah. Crunch. It's a Crunchwrap Supreme for a reason. This thing's halfway gone, bro. You know, Taco Bell makes crunchy Crunchwraps? Apparently. They stepping up their game, man. Yum, yum. I haven't had one of these in so long. Oh my god. That's so real. Over what? If I may ask. Was it because your Crunchwrap Supreme wasn't crunchy? It's being a bitch to myself. Actually, that's a very valid reason. You forgot your Baja Blast. What the fuck? Fire him. Oh. If she crashes. Dude, I hate when people, like, insult you in Spanish thinking you don't know or something, and you actually do.
Oh, where did I go? Hello?
You zoomed, bruh!
What happened?
Ew, is that mom? Ugh. Hey, Crazy isn't happy to see you. He
What
actually
the
hates
fuck?
you.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Wait, Ghosty's back? Bliss. Go back to Hamp VT. Hell yeah.
What?
I was entertaining them.
Because she's so
I was
nice and sweet
entertaining
and
the
awesome.
chat.
What would we do without her? Stop, chat. You're making me blush.
I'm almost done with my crunch wrap. This is kind of sad, guy. I'm a slow ass eater. Ghosty, you hate Crazy?
I do?
You do?
I do?
He said you said it.
Damn.
Last bite of the crunch wrap, guys. Don't worry, there's more food in this bag on my big back.
Don't blush, it's true. I'll blush if I want it. Do I have to look at DoorDash? Door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just keep in mind I'm not as rich as Jesse.
No, for real.
So I can't get you like 20 things of sushi. I know, I'm sorry. Man, I should have gotten sushi. Oh well, too late. I didn't get a Baja Blast! I'm a disgrace.
Someone buy me a bunch of sushi, please and thanks.
Huh?
I said, someone buy me a sushi, please and thanks. I beg.
A singular sushi?
I beg. I said lots of sushi, bro.
Oh. You know what, just for that, you get to hear my bag crinkling while I look for the other stuff in it.
Damn.
What is this? Oh! No! It got all my bed!
Oh no! What happened?
It's like the cinnamon desserts.
Oh no!
They're like salted caramel churros. No. This is why you shouldn't eat on your bed, kids.
Are you
This is like
back?
the third
Just
time it's happened. No.
No, I think it's the monster.
Oh my god. The monster sounds kinda gay. Kinda lame too, not gonna lie.
I hear his bitch ass upstairs.
this bitch house has been a lot of places.
So nothing's happened, I'm assuming.
No, we're kind of just chilling.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Their power is out. They just texted me.
Oh my god.
What happened?
That scared the shit out of me, dude. I've been worried.
What happened?
A friend of ours hasn't been texting in a few days because their power's out.
He said, hi, the power is out and I don't know when it's going to be back on. We're using a hotspot at the moment, but the iPhone is at 6%. Sorry for worrying.
They sent the same thing.
Fair worry, though.
I can't figure out what I want to eat.
Food, probably. No.
You think you're so funny.
I do, actually. I think I'm fucking hilarious.
I hope they're doing alright. They are. I think it's just all the storms.
Yeah. They've also been having power issues before the weather, so it's just not a good combination. Because didn't their network like go out before the whole weather thing? I'm pretty sure it did.
Yes and
For like a split second.
yeah.
I was just worried though because like the other day they told me some stuff that made me more worried than I would have been normally from not hearing from them for a day.
Do I want cinnamon twists or chips? Chips and guacamole.
Chips guacamole, I think.
Well, if you insist.
Oh my god. Dude, how cold is it?
Okay, do I want a Lux box or do I want the
Taco Bell, I'm assuming.
mini taco salad? Yeah. I really liked the taco salad actually.
Taco salad is so good, dude.
No, you had box last.
I didn't even notice that Crazy texted me. He called me schizo.
Crazy sent me
I
a
feel so loved.
screenshot of my squatting.
Yeah, he did it to me too.
I feel loved whenever Crazy calls me names.
Ever.
Yeah.
What's my limit?
$500.
40 is the max.
Okay, I'll screenshot this to you then.
Because I only did 20 for myself.
I think mine went to 24.
That's good. Crazy, do not call me slurs. I'll call you slurs back. Once I can
Did you guys
say.
hear humming?
Not on stream. Huh?
Did you guys hear humming?
No.
No.
Sadly, I hear Frank Ocean because I have my music on.
No way.
Let me fix it.
Oh, I gotta look at all the little details.
If it makes you feel better, I didn't change any except for the drink. Did someone say
Okay, that
slur?
makes
Is
a
it
lot
time
of
for the streamer to do a slur tier list? It's Taco
No.
Tuesday, taco salads required. Okay. I got a taco salad, don't worry, chat.
Oh my god, it is Tuesday and I didn't even realize. That's funny. I love that.
I did have like a vision at work that I was gonna be celebrating 𝚃𝚆𝙸𝚃𝙲 Tuesday.
I still have Jesse's house in DoorDash. I still
Yeah,
have
send it. Send it.
Yeah,
Wait, you
I
won't?
love that. Why did I have it saved? That's insane.
let's do a slur test.
Just in case.
Let's do a slur list.
Tist?
I agree. We're not doing a slur list, chat.
I can only say one, I think. No, I can say two.
Well, technically, you could say all of them, but.
Well, technically. Well.
Actually. Let's not you. Society.
Taco combo.
Society. Oh, I'll not tab that.
I cannot take you seriously.
Society.
There we go. Just because.
Girls kiss
One dick.
Nobody bets now.
But when I kiss my homeboy goodnight, it's gay.
Society calls me gay.
It's because you are gay.
Yeah. Chicken crispy.
Go see what kind of trackers do you have? I don't have any. I'm just using my Quest. Is it obvious?
Crispy taco. So you only changed the drink, right?
I think so, yeah.
That
would
would tell me
explain
what
the
it is so I don't have to scroll through it. I'll just scroll. It's fine.
I was gonna look at it.
A confetti cookie. Freeze large? What the fuck is that? Wait, that looks good. What
There's
is
like
that?
music in my ears.
I hear it too.
Got like.
What is the confetti cookie freeze? That looks good.
Diabetes.
It sounds like diabetes. It
It's
sounds like
straight
the
up
equivalent of
tits.
birthday cake flavor.
Yeah, it is.
It's straight up tits.
In mini town.
Just. They're
Oh,
selling.
just-
them?
What?
Sorry, I'm being gay mid-order. My bad.
Why are you being gay?
They said they love me. And they'll try to talk as soon as they can. Be careful. Safe. And warm. Don't worry. Don't. Glitter? Right. You got. Oh, we went out of the screenshot. Damn it. Mini 𝚃𝚆𝙸𝙷. Cool. Salad. Seasoned beef is required. Beans.
Big
You
bean.
didn't change anything about the salad, right?
Big bean.
I didn't.
Big bean net.
Green light.
So do you spend a lot of time in VR chat, or is this a rare thing? I'd say it's a pretty rare thing.
Except for recently.
I know, I've been on a...
Well, ever since you got your headset, you've been on a lot.
Well, yeah, because I wanted to, like, make the most out of it, I guess? If that's a
Yeah.
good way to, like, explain it.
Oh, they're probably gonna call me about the door again.
Damn.
But if you think about
Why
it,
you-
we
why you gotta
split
live at a
it,
weird
so
place,
you
man?
have to spend half the brain fat.
Just come sit next to me.
I need to memorize.
Or actually
Like
sit
here?
where I'm sitting. Yeah, sit where I'm sitting.
I should probably just
Oh,
put it in
oh, this is a
the
double
delivery
couch.
details.
It is a double couch.
Oh, nice.
Alright, what door?
Huh?
And stuff. Text me
The far
the
door.
details of your door and stuff. So I can put it in the delivery instructions.
Door and stuff.
Yeah, the thing that they always ask me about.
The
'Cause
far
they're
My
door.
different
headset's
doors.
slow.
Plug it in.
Plugging it in requires me to sit at a very awkward angle on my bed.
I hate being paranoid.
Huh?
Hate being paranoid.
Fair enough.
Teehee! Any noodles? Okay, I'm just gonna text them because just
Oh god, what happened? Oh god, I'm breaking everything. Oh god. Oh god.
they're gonna call me. You do realize that, right?
Yes. No,
Oh.
if they call my door
Oh no, it's
code-
the right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I love posing as you.
Oh, wait. Does your door code work?
Yeah, we got it
39.
fixed.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's so weird. The delivery time is in your time zone.
Yeah,
I didn't even
it
notice
is.
that before.
It's so weird.
That's crazy. That's trippy. I was like, wait, it's gonna 5:37 to 5:47. It's 6:27. Bro's gonna time travel to get you your food.
I played golf and do exploring.
I
worlds
wanted
with
here an
friends.
hour
I want
ago.
some recommendations. If you want, Saint. I didn't know you played VRChat.
Ooh, golf.
We're
I know
always
about
struggling to
Putt
find
Putt
worlds, dude.
Quest. We are. Okay, my
4K crunch sound effect.
is going low, so I think I'm gonna dip for stream. Oh, where did my V?
At least it worked.
Yeah, after my PC had a stroke.
Okay, it just needs a stroke.
But alright, bye chat.
Bye, chat. Thanks for looking at me squat. Bye bye. I don't have a headset, so I can't wave. I can do this.
I'll wait for you.